Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Killbox Podcast. This is going to be a fun one. We've got our sweet treasure prince, Mr. Kyle Gover, here with us. Back
all
from
the treasure. I brought it all with me from
Olympia. He brings
Olympia.
nothing but treasures with him everywhere he goes. Treasure like bread from heaven. Here for the weekend from Olympia. Kyle's one of my best friends. We've grown up together. We've known each other for a long time. He was also in Daniel's youth ministry.
Yes,
so
he
it's
was.
just like last week with our sweet boy Noah. We've got another one with us, Mr. Kyle Grovers.
It's another reminiscing episode. I was listening to it and I was like, they're basically going to have two of the same episode back to back. I don't know.
Talk to me about male jewelry, because you have a lot of it. It must be a generational thing. You kind of have like a Johnny Depp situation happening
it's a lot
there.
of jewelry, shirts that are too
I thought
short.
that's what the treasure prince thing was referring to.
Because of all
that's
my
just
treasure
for my
that I
heart.
looted.
Is that what it, okay.
Yeah, these are all just like blue, like
It's just
rares,
me
so
being
they're
old
really
and not
Are you
understanding.
weird? That's nothing but biscuit.
Isn't
When
nothing
I
but
when I
blue.
first
Dustin
met
Slot.
Kyle, he would wear he would do his hair with a beanie. So how you would do it is he would wet his hair in the morning. It was kind of long, and then he put a beanie on to get it to kind of flip.
Yeah.
And he had coveted hair.
Man.
Did you ever blow dry it?
What time? What?
No.
How old are you? 12, 13, something like that.
Oh, when we met, I was like, I think 13 or 14.
13 or 14. Yeah.
Yeah, because we met before the...
You moved up from California.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool kid, Kyle.
Yeah, I was very like baggy everything, which is kind of more back now.
It is. It's kind of like you
yeah.
could just go and get all your old clothes back.
Dude, there's been some. I have a pair of shorts that are pretty much identical to a pair I had in middle school.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is great. I should have just kept everything. Would totally fit the same. But no, the jewelry is just just an accessory.
Yeah.
I've kind of latched onto now.
Just part of life now.
Where do you get
a
it?
part of who I
You
am.
do go to Claire's? Like, what do you? Where do you get that kind of stuff?
I always check Claire's first, and then I gotta.
I just don't know where to
go
get
to
man's.
Claire's?
We've got like a
I have
jewelry
my wedding
store,
ring. That's it.
like downtown Olympia. There's a store called Super Silver that I get a lot of it from. I got this and this in Seattle. And then, pretty much everything else is like from that Super Silver store. My fiance got me this in Europe, so
Whoa.
Kind of a big
Big
deal.
big deal.
Fiance.
Yeah.
Fiancé.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I
married
actually
next
didn't
month.
know. Oh, next month?
Did you not know?
I don't
I
know.
guess you're not
a
really
lot.
on
You
social
did
media
know.
as much.
I'm not on social media very much.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I used to look up to you a lot. But just,
I'm so behind and old.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. No, we've we're getting married
Congrats.
August 24th.
That's amazing. What's her name?
Kendra.
Kendra. Very
Yep.
cool.
Yep. She's amazing.
What's her best qualities and worst qualities?
Let's just go with
Best.
best.
Okay, we'll go with best. I don't want to blast her on
Oh,
public. You know.
blaster.
No, best qualities.
20
honestly,
years marriage advice. Just talk about the best stuff.
Yeah, I've got a lot to talk about.
Good.
But no, she's got a lot of great qualities. But the one that is like was huge to me, especially when we first started dating, is like she calls me out on a lot of shit.
Okay.
That's like other
Yeah.
people really wouldn't.
yeah.
They
So
just
people
like,
don't do
oh,
that to
Kyle's
you.
like funny, or, whatever.
He
But
wears
she would
jewelry.
like throw
I'm not
stuff
gonna
back
call
in
him
my
out.
face.
You've
Yeah,
seen
she's
his
like,
ring.
You see how loose his jeans are, dude? Don't mess with
His
that.
jeans are so loose.
Look at how big his clothes are.
It's a
I'm not
mix
going to
of
say
like
anything.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
How does he afford that much
West Side Story.
fabric?
I have a friend who lives in New York, and he went to Fashion Institute of New York, and he wears huge clothes, so
Oh,
it
yeah.
must be cool.
It's very hip now.
The bigger
very in.
like he wears these pants that his inseam must be like 32, and his pants inseam is like 44.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all the
Super
baggy,
long
really
pants.
baggy, like wide leg jeans.
Yeah.
And now it's like
Because you're kind of into fashion.
wider. Yeah. No, I love fashion stuff.
Yeah.
It's like wider, like tops that are like a little bit cropped.
You're basically wearing
just,
my
at the belt
clothes.
or below the belt.
You come in and get my closet.
I'll come by your house
Yeah,
before I
come
head
by
home.
my house. You'll look so clean.
It'll
gonna
be
be
perfect.
great.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could rob my wife's jewelry and wear my shirts, and you're going to be set.
perfect.
It's gonna look really cool. Really cool.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, you got more tattoos since I saw you last, too. Yeah.
I've got a few. I have
Yeah.
this little panther,
Little kitty.
this little eagle, and a snake fighting.
Whoa.
This was my first tattoo, which is like a Cairo or like a Kiro, but I did it
Okay.
like different.
Little
'cause I
Josh
wanted to be
Kennedy.
different.
Yeah.
And that's the one that I really am like, I don't really like it anymore. And then I have a horse and a snake up here.
You got two snakes on one arm?
Dude, a snake
but the snake's
Let's
getting
not
beat
read
up.
into it spiritually. It's
No,
just
I'm not.
it's just a picture.
I'm not reading it. Both snakes are in a fight. One with a horse and one
with
with
an eagle. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just it represents the
Why
constant
do
struggle.
you why do you want the snake to kill the most majestic animals?
I don't want it to.
Because
I don't want it to kill
I feel like a horse, you would want that trampling on the snake, or the eagle exercising freedom on a snake. But instead, you want
next
the snake
sleeve
to strangle
hippo
him out.
versus snake.
Yeah.
Well, that's
all
I want all animals
All of
on
his
this.
all
tattoos
animals.
are just
Yeah,
animals
yeah.
fighting snakes.
Because you were gonna
No.
go with the sleeve kind of situation.
Me?
Yeah, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, I got one pretty much done.
Well,
sorry, I'm
it's
ignorant.
kind of a situation.
It's-
I mean,
it's
so-
like
okay,
up in
sorry,
here,
you
it's
got
gotta
a
get
full
finished.
sleeve.
I got one here.
Apologies.
Yes. I mean, if I could wave a magic wand and get exactly what I wanted right now, like I want neck and throat all the way down.
No way.
I've always wanted a couple up here on my face, but my wife won't get there. So,
Are you for
I don't
real?
think
Right?
I could do
100%. I love
I
it.
could do like
You're not
maybe-
gonna go-
maybe on like the sides, but I couldn't do like front.
I
or,
will,
like
I will
over here.
bare minimum, I'm going to go. So I've got one that's been drawn up for the last year now that it's like my waist is one giant photo basically that goes all the way up my stomach.
many
my
snakes?
chest. No snakes. One raven.
No, snakes
No,
don't
snakes
welcome.
don't
Oh
welcome.
my
No.
gosh, bro.
Yikes. Good. Get some
Actually-
sandpaper,
Okay,
sand it
sorry,
off.
I'm interrupting. Carry on. Talk about your big totem pole of a tattoo going up your body.
Hold on, I'm breaking stuff already. I need to get an Allen wrench and tighten this one because if it gets too low, it just slowly sinks. It hits that like catch
I used
point.
to do construction. You could ask me about that.
Yeah, Kyle's pretty big build.
You should get a hammer and a snake.
Yeah, just,
A little hammer. Just a little hammer over here. Actually,
Get
should.
a
It's just
snake
all the
fighting
things
Glenn,
of your
dude.
life. It's a guitar and a hammer and a
hammer.
snake.
And a snake. Why the snake? I don't know, but the other ones are cool.
My favorite tattoo that Kyle has, actually, I just thought of this story, is on his chest. It says,
Yeah.
"Be still and listen." Now, the reason why
I
it's
have
my
one right
favorite,
here, and it's
Oh.
similar to that
That's
meaning.
close.
Nice.
Kyle, we got the tattoos together at a marriage conference that Living Water was hosting. We were both working it. He was in the band, I believe.
I think I was
Or
running.
were you running sound?
Yeah.
You were doing sound. I was doing photo video stuff. We had a break and we're like, let's go get tattoos. We're down in wherever.
That's so
Oregon,
logical.
right?
I think it was
naturally.
Seaside.
Seaside, Oregon. So we find this like ratchet. The only little tattoo shop open, smelled like weed. It was just kind of whatever.
Oh yeah, because a bunch of them were like closed.
Yeah, everything
for
was
some reason.
closed. So I got this little rose on my thumb and this little cross over here. That's what I did. Those two. And
Cross rows, like the Cairo, just different.
just
Yeah, it's
different.
just different.
It's just
Cross
I
roads.
like
Man,
my
the Lord brings
tattoos to
us
make
together.
you think. You know.
Yeah,
I want you to dive
totally.
into 'em.
Cross rows with a little snake on the back.
There's a snake somewhere else.
You wiggle your pinky, it's a little snaker.
So I tell him what I want.
Yeah.
Kyle's telling him what he wants, and he's just doing this. And so I swear to God, he's telling him, and I hear him say the words, yeah, and I want it to just be like this font, and I want it to say "be still" and glisten. And so,
Like with a G at the beginning.
with a G.
Glisten.
So in my head, I'm thinking like, bro, that's the most stupid thing I've ever but I'm also like, I can't judge my buddy.
Yeah, right,
If that's
right,
what
right,
he
right.
wants. Like, I don't want
I
people to
think
tell
you
me my
can say
tattoos
like,
are
"Are
stupid.
you sure?"
sure?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. But,
Well, and I think the guy might have
guy-
asked like, "Is that what you want?" And I was like, "Yeah, I told you what I want. That's what I want."
Well, the guy, the tattoo guy heard glisten too. So we both heard glisten, and we're
Yeah.
both sitting there like the artist is going to be like, yeah, that's what you want, right? And I'm sitting here like, I don't want my buddy to think I think it's because what if he really wants glisten?
Yeah.
And now I'm the
Yeah.
guy that's like, yeah, that's kind of
dumb, dude.
freaking fruity, dude. What are you
a
doing?
little bit.
And,
like
he's like, no,
You don't
I want to
like
glisten and be
that.
still, dude. But then, yeah,
Be still and shine, dude.
Long
Yeah.
story short,
Eventually,
it
I think
comes out.
he was typing it out,
And you're like,
and he put a G at the beginning. And I
That's
was
what it
like,
was, dude.
"Wait, no, no, no.
wait.
you misspelled listen.
Listen.
Yeah.
And then
we-
you
and everyone
we
in
and
the
were
tattoo
both
shop's
like,
like,
oh,
oh.
thank God,
That's
dude.
exactly
We-
what happened. Oh,
It was
dude.
comical, but I
was really funny.
maybe that was a bad friend moment on my part because I was going to let you go through with that.
Yeah. I mean,
But-
you should at least ask, like, are you sure you want the word glisten all over your body?
Yeah, I wish you would have said something.
Yeah.
Well, now I know. See, that's what a fruitful friendship does. We
At least-
learn. and
yeah.
we
I'm not going to
progress.
judge you. If you're like, hey, just for clarity,
Yeah.
you do want glisten.
Yeah.
Right? I just want to make sure. He's like, not my thing, but if you want it, I'll support you.
Yeah.
If that's what you
The
want,
next
brother.
animal fighting a snake, I'm like, you sure? You
It's
want
gonna be-
us
it's gonna
three
be a really
snakes?
shiny owl.
Yeah.
It just ends with a snake fighting another snake.
Whoa.
Snake.
Double snake.
Which snake wins?
Actually,
dude?
should. Wait,
What an
no,
origin
there's only
story.
one there.
Yeah. So, okay, so Kendra and you were getting married in August.
Yep. Yep.
So
next month.
amazing.
I know.
Amazing. So she calls you out on stuff. What else do you like about her?
She really she just loves people and cares about people a lot.
Mm-hmm. Is she a different temperament? Because you're kind of like
is.
chill. Is she more outgoing?
She's actually, I've realized over the years, I'm more extroverted than I thought I was.
Okay.
She's more introverted, but she's just better with people.
Yeah.
I kind of hit this limit sometimes, almost of like,
Your
dude, I got a lot going on. I don't really care. And she is much more like, I think I care about people and it's easier, so it makes sense. People that are just like closer to me in this circle, and I care deeply for those people. She has more of a broad, like, I kind of care for everyone like pretty equally. Like obviously closer friends are closer, but she's really good about that. And it kind of, especially in the where I like what I'm doing for work now, like I need to care for people more in that way.
You work at Claire's?
That's where I got all these piercings. I
actually don't know what you do for work these days. What do you do?
I'm the production and worship director at Living Water now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I oversee all the audio, video.
Do you have my old office? Or do you have Sherry Sanderson's old office?
I have Sherry Sanderson's
No,
office now.
do you remember the OG
Now it's, I think,
tech
Janice.
room? When they used to have the wall with the little TVs in it?
I do.
It's that room.
Yeah.
No, you're downstairs now.
Yes.
Mike Barker.
Yeah. Yep. So the broadcast room that used to be next to that is they kind of blew that out and extended that office. So it was Mike's, then it was like a multi-purpose like kids office.
Yeah.
And then it was Alex, who I think is still here. He might have left.
He's sitting in the massage chair still.
Yeah.
Nice. So then it was his office, and now it's my office.
Yeah. And it was Alec until he had a huge failure of some sort.
Yeah, there was a big failure. They had to fire him
big
because
moral
he
failing.
He did it. He rode off into the sunset gloriously.
He did. He was like, I mean, as sad as it is, one of the few like good exits.
That's on. Yeah,
I know.
good for you, Alec. Way to go, buddy.
Good job.
Proud of you, bud.
And now he lives over this side
Isn't
of the
he a
Yeah.
worship pastor over here now?
No. Alec, what do you do for work? He's a software
guy.
project manager.
Software guy.
Yeah.
Of course,
Classic. The kingdom loses another one.
Yeah.
The kingdom's gonna learn how to pay better, you know.
Dude, no one's gonna know how to worship anymore.
I know.
Where are our worship
Are we
leaders?
gonna we're gonna march around the city and make
They're
the
all
walls
in
fall
software.
down? Nobody's gonna be able to do it.
We can't, dude. We're too
Yeah.
busy making computer games and stuff. Huh?
So yeah, no, I do that now, but with that comes like, I think I'm leading technically the creative arts team, which is like 35 total. And some of them I'm like close to and we're buds and we hang out, and like more of them, it's like, yeah, I see you on Sundays or at different events and stuff.
Is Kendra on the team?
Yeah.
She a good
so
singer?
She sings like once a month right
You
now.
guys harmonize?
Yeah, we do harmonize.
Yeah,
we
you do.
harmonize pretty good.
That's cool.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
We're both singing tomorrow, so
I mean, that's pretty
Whoa.
legit.
it's cool. It's cool.
That's cool.
But
Does she play an instrument?
She plays acoustic, and then
That's
a little bit of
cool.
piano. Yeah, but she doesn't play for like worship as much.
Yeah, church
She'll just
setting
sing.
stuff.
She's like, I'm not good enough to do it, and I honestly haven't heard her play through a whole song on either of those. But I know she can play.
She's
So
like a
maybe
singer.
she's good.
She's like a
Do you think she's good
singer-songwriter
enough?
kind of vibe.
Sure.
I like it.
No. But yeah, she just in general cares for people a little more consistently, like really well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can just hit a wall of like, I really don't care.
Yeah.
And she's good at like pushing me and encouraging me to be like,
Yeah,
but,
you're out of care
I know
points.
that you do care about these people. Yeah.
I
So
think that
she's
was
really
like
good about
one of
that.
my weaknesses as a pastor was I would just get peopled out. I'm like,
I never picked. I was watching Noah's episode, like just reminiscing in my brain. I was like, I never like got that vibe from you.
I always liked you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we were great. You were one of the first people I met when we moved up. You were my leader, and I was like, oh, he like actually cares. Okay, cool.
I did. I did. I actually did care about it. I think the thing that like what my biggest weakness was I would share my opinion too much. That was like definitely my biggest weakness.
Yeah,
Well, I
but
feel like
keep
for
your
the-
mouth shut.
for the-
Yeah, 100%. Keep your mouth shut.
For students, like it's at least the perception was that you didn't really hit a wall. There wasn't a lot of wall to hit as far as caring and interacting.
Yeah,
with
I would
Oh,
agree.
that's good.
Yeah.
That's
with,
good.
with adults and other leaders, volunteers, that kind of stuff. Like now, I could just say that from now of our relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I could imagine
Oh yeah, dude.
that dealing with that group, it's pretty easy to hit a wall. I do the same thing. I'm very extroverted. I can become best friends with anyone in
and
any
then
room
you're just
I walk
like,
into.
I just need a minute. Like,
But yeah, and it
peopled out.
clicks fast.
It's fast.
Like
yeah.
you're full tilt in it, good to go, and then out of nowhere, it's just I want everyone to get away from me.
It's
I'm done, I'm
decision
going home.
fatigue,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's like, hey, or small talk fatigue. Like that is a
I hate
hard
small
one for
talk.
me.
can't do it.
I don't mind small talk.
Yeah,
It's like, I think for me, a big part of it is like Sundays.
yeah.
I'm
dude.
doing so much. And then I have like, there's certain people that will always ask me more like involved questions on a Sunday morning
Yeah.
when I'm trying to be at like 5 different places.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
And you
I
can't
don't-
be rude.
I
You
don't
can't
have-
be rude.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
how's it
You
going?
can't spend
Yeah.
20 minutes
Not that I
burying yourself.
want to be rude, but sometimes the
Of course
capacity
not.
is just like,
I think
I don't
that
have time for
the
this.
congregation sometimes forgets
Yeah.
it's your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're on
Right.
like service 3 or 4
Yeah.
and
Well-
when you're singing, you're like gassed, you're like giving everything all the time. You've been there since 6 a.m. and
Yeah.
it's like,
right.
Kyle, let me just grab you for a second. This is
Yeah.
my niece.
Hey, I actually don't like this. Can we change it? Well, I have other things I have to
I
fix,
don't
so-
love it when you know how like when you talk in the middle of a song, you say a prayer, like you know how like when you do that.
What if you stopped?
Yeah, what if you stopped?
You know
What if
the
you
song?
just
You know,
left?
Kyle, here's a song on the phone. This is from Hillsong's new thing. Have you heard this one? Here, hold on. It's not very loud. Oh, it's on the Bluetooth on my car.
Oh, sorry.
Hold
sorry,
on.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's on in my
Yeah,
car.
you know what I mean? It's just like
You're
where's
blasting
your
in the parking
car,
lot.
dude?
I don't know how many people would be like, "Hey, you should
Uh-huh.
do this song for youth worship." I'm like, that's not even my department. Like,
Yeah,
you're
you're
gonna
like,
want to
I
talk to
don't know,
Cody
dude.
Chapman. That's not me.
Right.
I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
little tiny speaker up to. I'm like, it's on your AirPods. Oh, hold on a second.
yeah,
Yeah,
hold
I'm
on
so
a second.
sorry.
right here on my ear. I'm like, that's
And then
great.
it's
I
the,
love
like,
it.
really
cool.
So
Yeah, wow.
powerful, right? Like, yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
sounds
really
good.
amazing.
I'll listen to it.
You know what I'm seeing? Chains broken. A guy with chains breaking them. Can you
Oh.
guys have chains here? I'm like, yeah,
Ooh,
we
yeah.
have breakaway chains
We should
everywhere,
put together a skit.
dude.
That's skit.
Do you
Yeah.
guys remember the Lifehouse Human video? You guys remember
The
that?
Lifehouse
God,
video?
Oh,
dude.
man.
I remember you guys brought it up last week, but I referenced it actually yesterday at Greg and I went to an autocross thing.
Oh yeah, we went to the dirt,
Motocross.
the old dirt
Motocross.
scooters. It was
Well, I don't know.
actually
I heard
called
autocross.
autocross.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I forgive you.
Apologies.
It was like
Accepted.
a
quick to apologize.
it was
I like
an Idaho like pro-am
Mhm.
dirt bike race.
Yeah. But one of the guys did like a little trick. He like raised his hands up, and Austin was there, and he said something, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, it's all 10 for
My
him."
brother Austin?
Yeah,
Austin
yeah.
came out.
Austin came out?
Yeah,
That's
it
so
was-
cool.
so
I wish I
it
would
was
have come. I had my
Alec,
kids
me,
play.
Right.
Kyle, John and Nicole, and Austin.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
Oh, and John.
It does
Blades.
sound loud. I
It
don't
was
love
kinda
loud
loud.
stuff.
It was a
Well,
little
it was
bit, not too
loud when
bad.
the pro race happened, when they did the real race. But then
Yeah.
they did like a couple circuits with like the 8-year-olds. These are the 5-year-olds.
They should do electric bikes.
That
It's
was
like
cute.
it's just like quietly awkward to where you can hear
Quiet.
people chewing and stuff in the crowd.
Yeah, some of the like the younger like age groups, like whenever they would go out, they would just like blast music, and you like see people get up.
Cute.
Oh, it was adorable, dude. He just watched a bunch of parents run around and encourage their
Yeah,
sweet
the
little
training
treasures.
wheels was really cute.
There was a couple kids that had training wheels on their motorcycles.
On their motorcycles.
Yeah, yeah.
These
I've
little
never
dirt
seen it.
bikes with these big like off-road
Those are basically
training
just
wheels.
cars at that point because they have 4 wheels.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I don't think they had their license.
This is
This is not,
NASCAR.
this is not okay.
Yeah, dude. Their
They don't know
tabs
how to
were
drive.
Not even existent.
So
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But I referenced your
10 hands
it was
for
the
him,
camp,
is that
yeah,
what
like
it
the
was?
all 10 for him,
All
the
10 for
praise
him.
pump and jump, the
Oh
all
yeah,
that kind
what
of
was
stuff.
Lazarus Rising.
That's the one.
The Lion of
Lazarus
Judah.
Rising.
Yeah,
Lamb of God.
Lion of Judah, Lamb of
of
God. All 10 for him.
Oh, good for you. That was also one of the greatest videos that church
fun.
ever produced.
Oh
That was
man,
amazing.
I
I
still-
still use it to test.
if we
like
don't get
strings
Andy
and
Irwin
stuff.
on this show at some point,
We'll get it.
I will-
No,
you
I feel
should.
like that's
You
an easy
should.
one. I'm trying to get him to come out in September for my birthday, so I have a secret plan.
It's
Is
an
if I
extra
can get him
pull
to
for the
come
birthday.
here,
Yeah.
One of the things we did for Austin's birthday was everyone wanted to just watch Andy fish. So we told a story. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
this was
he
last
was
year.
last year. So
is
it was
amazing.
me, Greg,
Austin,
and Andy and Joe. Joe
Joe,
Fisher.
yeah, Joe Fisher.
Yeah.
Everyone is just sitting on the shore. Andy's like out 5 feet on a large rock casting a good 30 minutes
Yeah.
by himself.
No.
And everyone's just taking photos of him from behind. And he'll like look over his shoulder and I'm like, "You're doing great, bud." And
No
he's just casting.
way.
I don't know why, but like Austin's like, for my birthday, I want
wanna
to see
watch
Andy
Andy
fish.
We just wanted
Who
him
do
to
you
catch
know
something.
that's like Andy? Do you know
No one.
any other?
Literally
people?
no one.
Okay,
No other
so just
human.
to prove it, like to people watching, because like I'm on a podcast with Andy. I mean, it's obviously over now, but like,
Yeah.
but like
buddy's
I
died.
try to explain to people like,
buddies are
there's
dead.
no, yeah, buddy's died. There's nobody like him. He
There's not.
has a pheromone that he emits. It
It
makes
is, dude.
other men love him.
It emits just
They
a
just want to
especially
care
other
for
men,
him.
yeah.
Yeah. because you were the one that would
was
twiddle
one of
his
them.
clothes.
Yep, and he was one of my leaders in high school. Yeah, we used to do this thing to him where we would, and I think it was, it's such a funny dynamic. It's just like when you're a young kid and you have a leader that you do like look up to and like really respect. It's like you do love him, but you're also like, oh, he's like really funny when we like do stuff.
Yes, it's his reactions. Like that's why it would never end.
1,000%.
You just torture.
But we
him.
would go up to him. He'd be like working at the church, like editing videos or something, and I would just walk in there, and I would like walk up behind him, and I would like, if he had like a collared shirt, I just grab his little collar, and I would just like twiddle it.
Twiddling
just a
his
little
clothes, just rubbing
like
his
this.
clothes like that.
And he would notice sometimes. I could tell sometimes he would try to ignore it.
Yeah,
I would just keep going
because he would. You would like,
which is 10 so
minutes.
annoying.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
Now an adult, I'm like, that would drive me nuts.
It was a nightmare. Like,
oh, yeah.
and it was like you and Alec and your brother. I mean, so many young men would do it to him.
Garrett Nail,
Matt Wilson.
Christian
Matt
Moak.
Wilson was Christian Moak. I mean, there was 6, 7, 8 young guys that he couldn't get out of the church parking lot without getting twiddled, without getting pinched, without getting like, sometimes you guys would just get really close to him and do there's no tool in this pool, and then you would just from Hot Rod, and you guys
the
would
Richardson,
you would just rust on him.
Yeah. It's just so not
and he's an adult, you know, and he's just like, I can't touch. Like,
if anyone saw that, he'd be in jail.
I know. We used to talk about it's like, dude, if anybody saw the things we did to Andy, there was nothing we did necessarily behind closed doors, just to clarify, but just
in general.
In general, in a public space, we would just make sure that nobody was really paying attention.
If anybody at Living Water, maybe you can track it down. Andy's first sermon, where it was, what's that singer, Katy Perry, came out with that song, I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It.
Oh, yeah.
And he like heard it for the first time.
Oh my gosh,
and
I
he was
remember
going to
this.
preach a totally different sermon. And then he heard it on like a Thursday, and then church was on Sunday night. And he like got really convicted and moved, and he preached a sermon. I think it was called "We Need a Car Wash on the Internet," and it was the accidentally funniest sermon maybe ever preached. Someone laughed so hard they fell out of their chair.
Where was he preaching at?
It was in U-Turn.
Okay,
it was a U-Turn building.
building.
I've never heard a funnier talk ever.
That's
the part that why it was so funny was because he was being so sincere.
Oh, so
sincere and so sweet. And if anyone can find it, I think it was recorded. That would be the treasure of treasure.
In the archives.
I feel like he rides this weird balance, or not weird as much as interesting, between like being so sincere, but also like saying the funniest things.
The funniest
stuff I think he
ever.
knows that it's gonna be funny, but to him it's just like normal.
It's how
normal
his,
thoughts.
It's
like,
how his
I'll just say
brain
this because
phrases
everyone
stuff.
thinks it's like
nobody thinks that ever.
Your humor, the level of comedy that you have is just.
Kyle,
from birth, steps above.
You nailed it. It's because he grew up in the forest by himself, and he's like, surely everyone thinks like this.
Right. Yes.
And you're like, Andy, no one has ever thought that thought. That is completely unique.
No one's ever said that.
Yes.
Or any words in that sense. I don't know.
Yeah. There's a weird innocence to him, and that's why he's so endearing.
It's
so
perfect.
funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you said it correctly though, where it's like, or I don't remember which one of you said it, but like I have such a large amount of respect for that man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But again, like everything he says is just, God, I just want to hold you so hard because you're such a sweet
I just want you to be
boy.
around me all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just talk.
We have another friend
talk to
like
me.
that.
Just
I
talk.
miss him. I miss him so much.
Yeah, we'll get him here.
I know. I see him every now and then. He goes to our Lacey campus now.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Good.
So he helps out over there.
He kind of floated off into the mist, into the sunset.
Disappeared for a little bit, and then he came back.
Yeah, he came back.
He came back.
He came back. Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's funny.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, marriage in August. We can circle back to that.
Yeah,
because I'm curious. What are you most excited for to be married? Minus the
well, you can say it on this show.
Sex will be great.
Sex will be tight. The beast with two backs.
The what?
The beast with two backs.
Never heard that.
Phrase?
No, what is that? Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Dang it, I'm left out. What is it? If you can.
Sex, yeah.
Okay.
It's just
your
slang.
front to front with two backs showing. Anyways.
Oh, okay.
This is a family show, Kyle. Why
No,
you
I
bringing
got
stuff
it now.
up?
Wait,
Why
whoa,
are you
whoa,
bringing
whoa,
this
wait.
stuff up?
No,
dude?
it's
I
not
don't
a
know.
family show.
It's
That's
definitely
the
not a
thing.
family
Hey, I'm
show.
pure and innocent. I
Kyle,
don't know anything.
He said shit once already today.
I did.
Yep.
I did.
So-
And I hesitated, but then I
Yep.
You
didn't
can
hesitate
swear.
My
anymore.
whole thing, because I try to remain real top shelf on this show. I don't get into the muck.
It's very
you know.
respectable.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it can happen around me. I just can't participate.
That's a leader I respect.
Christian.
leader
I
I
respect it.
A man of God.
But
No,
as you,
obviously
Pastor,
excited
yes,
for
I have
those
heard
things.
that before.
That's so funny. I've literally never heard it.
Yeah,
I like it though.
Yeah.
that's good.
But obviously excited for that. Also, we're just kind of in the stage now where it's like we just don't like not living together.
It's inconvenient.
It's so inconvenient.
Super dumb.
And then especially when like we're getting closer to the wedding and she's wanting to spend more time together and talk about wedding stuff, but she works at a coffee shop and she opens whenever she works, so she's up at like 3:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Just not having like that automatic time together. That's not like, oh, we have to like work all the scheduling stuff out and like make sure that like, oh, you're working, I have this work thing going on. Well, but then you open the next day, so you really should be going home around this time. Like, we kind of just want that to be done and like live together. So it's like, oh, we don't have to try so hard just to see each other
Are you
on a regular basis.
Are you getting like? Is the ceremony at Living Water?
No. So we're doing a pretty small wedding. It's at the Dalrymples. Yeah.
Ted and Patty?
Yeah. Or
That's
Wait and Patty.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
That my parents' names are Ted and Patty.
Yeah.
Wait and Patty. Yeah.
Not at
There we
their
go.
house.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We moved
My
it. We were
dad's
actually
house?
doing it at your house,
Yeah.
your parents' house now.
Incredible.
That's pretty cool.
No, yeah. That's
So
awesome.
we're doing it there. I think right now, originally we wanted it to be really small, but that didn't work. Now it's like 80 people, which is still small for us, but
Yeah, that's super small. I didn't get invited.
I know. I didn't invite a lot
Maybe
of
we
people.
should address that right now. Why
Okay,
don't you
well, let's
invite
not.
Daniel?
Well, let's calm down.
It's
No.
totally okay.
I know it is. I know it's okay.
I understand. Like, I understand the small wedding thing.
I don't think I
Yeah.
got an invite either.
You're literally my best man.
I still would like an invite.
Well, wait, did you not
No.
get one?
No, I think I've got it hanging on.
No,
my
you do. I
fridge.
saw it on your fridge this weekend. I
A
literally saw
lot
a
of
picture
people,
of it.
because if you're in, like a role like you where your life's pretty public, it's a lot more convenient to have some of those things, on a smaller scale, more private.
Yeah, I would say it's. It feels less convenient, like trimming everything down, because we kind of are approaching it from this, like, there's a lot of people that we know and that we could invite just because we like people. We're also trying to save money.
Yeah.
So it's like,
expensive.
I don't want to do this huge thing. She really didn't want to have it at a church, just aesthetically. She's like, I don't want to like be up on like a platform and you got this projector screen in the background. She's like, no. So we were like, okay, well, let's keep it small. How we kind of filter it is like, who are people that like are like close to us now and that we could see like staying really close to us like in the future versus who are people that we were like once really close to. It's not that we hate those people.
Of course not. You just move in and out. Of
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, like, I mean, I've been in a good amount of weddings, but a lot of those people whose weddings I was in, I'm not like not really invited.
I actually
They're just
look
not
at
in my life.
I look at like the people who were in my like wedding party and I like barely see any of them anymore.
Right. It just
totally
changes.
normal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just changes. So we were like, okay, let's just take it from who's close now, who do we see being close moving forward. And those are the people. There's a few people that are like, I've referenced them as like legacy invites almost of like somebody like
a little legacy invite.
like a Bert Smith.
Oh, he's a legacy.
Who's like
invite.
family friend. He's been very involved in
Been
my
there
life
forever.
and like a really big like voice in my life. It's like, okay, like I'll invite him for sure.
Yeah.
So people like that are invited, but that even is like, I think, at least on my side, I think maybe 2 like couples that are like that.
Dan Vernick.
Dan Vernick. He and I were very close when I worked facilities. AKA him showing up at Olympia High School with like, he would bring McDonald's whenever he would show up for breakfast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude,
But yeah, no, we're keeping it really small, which is nice. We feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Once I got over the, somebody new being brought up to add to the list like every few days, I was just like, all right, I'm trying to keep this small. Let's calm down.
We tried to keep ours small and then had that same issue where, it was mostly my fault. Where I'd be like, oh, well, what
You have
about
like
this
a
person?
billion-
And the next thing, our wedding
friends.
was over 400 people.
We did same thing. We tried to keep ours small. It was like 460.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
crazy.
venue we did was a 2-floor building, 2-story building, And they typically, you rent out one or the other, right?
Yeah.
But our party had gotten so big that we literally did our ceremony on the top floor and then had our whole reception on the bottom floor because it was the only way to fit everyone.
Yeah. How many groomsmen did you have?
37.
Like 9 or
Knows.
10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had
it
12.
got 9.
It was
12.
I had 12.
my two brothers, Brandon and Peter, you, Cody Cochran, Josh Jones was my best man, Sam Thornton.
Yep.
Was Joe in it? Yeah,
Yes.
Joe Fisher.
Austin.
Austin was not in it.
Was not. That's I was going to
Derek
say
Jackson.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm forgetting.
You didn't even
someone.
know that guy anymore.
Derek. I just talked to Derek like a week or two ago.
A different Derek.
Different Derek.
Must have been a
No,
different
I was
Derek.
sorry.
No, dude, it was
I
different.
don't even remember. What was his last name?
Derek
someone
Drunkers.
It was like 9 or 10.
Yeah, you had a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we had a big wedding party. I felt bad for my wife because again,
Because she had to find people,
She
probably.
did.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't downplay the relationship she had with
Right.
her
of course not.
bridesmaids.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like she's got like
not
two
everyone
very
has
close
like
friends.
a dozen close friends like you do.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
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 But it
That's
was,
the only
I mean,
reason I didn't get invited into his wedding party was because Allison didn't have enough friends.
Yeah,
What he
we
said.
could. We just genuinely
Just
couldn't
kidding,
find it.
Allison.
They wouldn't let me have two best men. Is what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Right,
And then I was
right,
just
of course.
frustrated, so it was kind of a
Yeah.
fight the system.
Well,
type
Josh
move.
and I were like,
Yeah, and they
You
just kept
lost.
hitting the
I
same
lost.
one.
yeah.
And so eventually we had to call it.
Well, I
how
never
did-
don't
how did you
use
call it?
rock
Yeah.
because
Uh-huh.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson, obviously.
Yeah. And Jones is the same way.
And-
He
and
don't
Christ-
like
Christ
rock.
is solid rock. Of
Yeah,
course.
exactly. He's a
Right,
huge
that's what
role
you-
model
yeah,
for me.
Yeah, right.
So,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
hell, I'll go to Scissors.
yeah, dude. Scissors.
No
what
way.
a cowardly move.
Such, yeah, nice.
Dude, scissors, get
Yeah.
out of here, dude. No,
Yeah.
No
no
thanks.
time.
No thanks.
So, okay, great. So, small wedding,
Small wedding
mm-hmm.
outside.
honeymoon.
Honeymoon, Tulum, Mexico. So we're doing
Oh.
that for a week, and then we're coming back and just hanging out for a week. And then we have
Nice.
a friend's wedding that I'm in that weekend. So the last weekend on our honeymoon, I'm doing his wedding stuff,
Whoa.
which is fun. Like, obviously, I'm excited, but it was like, oh yeah, our weddings are very close together.
Wow.
You got double dip.
Yeah, it's Caden
Yeah.
Rice.
Freaking classic
Yeah.
Caden, dude.
Classic Caden to
Caden
just jump
behaved.
on
I mean,
your,
he was engaged before us, but we
Right.
got our wedding.
But
ahead
he's
of
not here to
his,
defend
so.
himself, so I feel like we can.
anyone's
blast him.
welcome to come on the cast and
Yeah.
defend
And
themselves
defend
If
later.
he'd
himself.
like
But
to defend
he
himself.
right
barely
now
comes
it's
on for
looking a
that.
whole lot like he tried to get on the old Kyle Gover Kendra wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Selfish.
Yeah.
Freaking loser.
Selfish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so smaller wedding. Yeah, I mean, we're excited. I'm living in the chalet.
Dude.
Everybody lives there.
Everybody
Everyone
said
like Living Water.
It's the waypoint.
Yep.
It would be great if
yeah.
Living Water had like posters of all the creative directors, like starting from Seth Himes, who I believe was the
There's
first.
not
time.
a single wall that's big enough. to
Yeah,
fit this.
Seth Himes.
That creative department.
yeah.
Turnover.
Oh,
that
yeah.
he's
Andy
experienced.
Irwin. So
We're like
Seth
3
Himes,
people now.
Andy Irwin, Stephen Mulkey,
Mhm. Cody
Chase-
Cochran, Chase Merrill. Wait, are we talking about
Chase,
specifically
Matt Wimberly?
directors?
Matt Wimberly.
Matt
was-
He
Wimberly
was
was over for a
technically
minute.
over it for
Mhm.
like less than a year.
Yeah.
It's
Not a
very
long
short.
tenure, but
Was
he
it-
still ran it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, anyway,
Oh, it's wild.
Mike Barker. He was over
Was
it
he?
too.
Mike Barker was over
No
it.
way.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
didn't know
right.
that.
Yeah.
I was definitely
right.
around, but I don't remember him
Yeah.
being over it.
Was Sherry Sanderson at one point?
I think
think she
so.
was,
Yeah.
I think technically.
Well, I
yeah.
think maybe I'm conflating the media director position with the creative director position.
Got it. So we're talking
Yeah.
specifically like
Yeah,
video production.
Well,
and
and
that
granted,
kind of stuff.
because you don't.
then
Do you do video? Or you?
technically I'm over video as
Oh,
well.
okay,
yeah.
okay. You're the big dog.
Yeah.
Big dog.
So I'm over all of it, other than marketing. I help out with like graphics and stuff, but I'm not technically over marketing.
Isn't that always funny that churches have marketing guys?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You'd think like.
I mean, it's more of marketing from like
I mean, I
what
was
what
that.
content
I was
do we
that.
need
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
show people, and what do we
Yeah.
need to communicate to the congregation.
Even when I had that job,
at least that's
before,
what it is now. I know it used to be a lot more of like
yeah.
marketing and getting things out there to like people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mostly doing the bulletin,
Yeah.
or it
Yeah, we
was.
don't
But
even do
now,
anymore.
yeah, now it's not even a
Yeah.
thing. It used to
Yeah.
be like the most important thing. It's like,
Yeah.
how are we gonna do the bulletin?
Bathroom slips. You remember those?
We
Oh,
still have
100%.
those.
Yep, still
Yeah, we
got
still get
those.
those.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Connect cards. That was
Nope.
you
Don't
got
do
rid of
those.
Connect cards,
Yeah.
huh?
We have a
QR
Connect
How do
codes.
Center.
people connect, dude?
QR codes,
Think
baby.
it through, Kyle.
Right?
Okay, so
Kyle,
somebody
freaking
shows
think it
up.
through,
Give it a
dude.
thought, dude.
Wait. Someone shows up, and then okay, let's stand. We're gonna worship really quick, and then just stand up and worship.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Pull your phones out and scan the code.
Scan
on
the QR
screen.
code on the screen. Somebody pulls out an iPad.
Yep.
Horizontal, of course.
Yep, of course.
Those are my favorite moments.
Dude, the iPads.
Those are my favorite moments.
Congregation iPad people.
Oh,
Different
I love
level.
it.
Wait,
I love
what?
it so much.
They
Have you
pull-
never seen someone do
You've
that?
never, yeah, they'll pull out a full size iPad and like my favorite
To like
is
take a picture or
now,
something.
Typically,
in the congregation, like they
Yeah,
bring
yeah,
their-
yeah.
Oh,
They
I have
bring
seen
their own
that.
iPad.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
they
thought
bring
you
their own
thinking. I thought you had like ushers holding up a QR code on an iPad. I'm like, Kyle,
Bro.
you actually need my coaching. That's a terrible system.
hey,
Like, scan the code and
maybe
get your
someone is
bulletin.
like,
roll
someone-
the dice. Let's see what happens.
Someone's
You've
telling
got
me
the
we could just
power.
put the QR code on the screen. I'm like, no.
no,
No.
it has to be an iPad.
we need these guys with iPads. Have security do it.
Yeah, I literally was like, this is the worst system I've ever heard
This
of.
is the
I know
worst.
you were. I was like, I thought that was pretty funny.
it's funny,
I guess. I don't know.
No, I actually have seen congregation members take their big old iPads out.
I love it from the sound booth.
One of my favorite things, I saw a guy take out his iPad and zoom in on the screen to see the words.
Oh yeah, I've seen
No
that.
way.
Yeah.
Was the text actually small?
I
was he
mean,
just
obviously
old?
not to me. It was as small as it but for him, and it's all shaky. And
Yeah, when it's zoomed in, it like is extra sensitive.
yeah.
Tries to take a picture,
Uh-huh.
comes down, it's just a blur.
Man, I love.
He gave it a good shot.
Man, I love just talking about old church stuff.
Yeah.
It's
It's
such
so
a thing.
funny.
Dude, one of the
Such a
churches
thing.
we checked out when we moved over here, it felt like living water in Idaho because I saw like iPads up there. The one thing that felt a little excessive that I didn't see a ton of at Living Water was this group of folks in the front row, and like I know a lot of churches
Which
do this.
church?
Does that matter? Am I going to put Heart of the City?
Oh,
okay.
Heart of the City.
yeah. That's
So I
why
went-
we went to Heart of the City.
Yeah, I know.
It feels like living water.
I went there because I knew that. Well, I went there because the other
Yeah.
boys all go there, so we were going to go check it out.
yeah.
And I mean, it was fine. This is not a dog on that church comment.
Okay.
But one
Okay.
of the things that like ruined
know what
it
you're
for
gonna say.
me was this group of people in the front row, and the preacher was speaking, and
Oh, I
every
think I know
like
where
2
this is
minutes,
going.
like, "Oh yeah, come on, man! Oh, did he say that?" Like, bro, it's like it's WrestleMania, and you've
They
got these
shout him
guys in
down
your
pretty hard.
It's,
Very-
it
very
is
hype- a lot of
obnoxious.
hype,
Okay,
man.
Yeah.
I can ignore it for a good majority of like that experience. But these guys were over the top, where it was
Yeah.
like they probably had a pre-service meeting to like go over their lines with each other of like, okay, when you say this, I'm gonna scream, "Oh man,
It's
that's
all-
I know
crazy."
all their names.
you probably do.
We won't dox them. But
No, I
It's all
again, I'm not
scripted.
trying to
They're
dog
good
on them,
guys,
but,
but
not my
yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
So
there's a balance between like the like being vocal and like encouraging.
I think so.
Like the speaker for sure, and something that just becomes very distracting for like
Yeah.
majority of the
Mhm.
congregation.
Mhm.
If everyone's doing it, and it's everyone's thing.
There
Great,
it is.
Awesome, sweet.
Yeah, that's
But
a
if it's
culture.
like one person is constantly just like screaming like, "Whoa, that was sick!" Yeah, come on, say it again.
Dude.
And then they like they
Satan's
awkwardly
scared
are
of
like,
that one.
guess like
Dude, it's literally like Christian X
That's his
Games in
least
there, dude.
favorite verse. Bring it, Pastor.
No, dude.
yeah, exactly.
Dude.
Then it's like,
Your
all
shouts
right.
are getting too long. Stop it.
Yeah. Love the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But there's like that willingness to like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna not just do what I want.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So that I'm not ruining this for literally everybody else.
For
in
sure,
here,
dude.
Just
Yeah.
trying to pay attention.
for
But
sure.
yeah, it's a balance for sure. It depends on the church.
It was obnoxious.
Oh,
That's my
Yeah.
stance.
Yeah.
time check.
2:30.
Oh, good. We have some time for a couple good more topics.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Is there anything you want to talk about on the show
Is there
today?
anything I want to talk
Yeah,
about?
any
on the
like
show today?
what's going on in your life? Like any big stuff?
You know?
Any burning? I mean, this is the platform. You can
Sure,
talk about
yeah.
anything you want.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily that there's things that I'm like I have to talk about.
Do you want to talk about
this.
your new album?
My,
Yeah.
my new album. It's actually a photo album that I put out of
Okay.
my big
It's a
clothes.
photo.
It's just my big clothes that I took pictures of on
It's
the
called
floor.
Daddy's Closet.
Daddy's closet.
That's literally perfect. I actually took the photos in my dad's closet.
You
It's
got
a
rid of all
photo
the-
all my
album of
clothes.
oversized old clothes and you in them.
Yeah,
My
Perfect.
toes are in the bottom of some of them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On accident.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Well,
Whoops.
what if? Oh, how about this? What is one of the biggest life lessons you've learned over the last few years that you think has had the most impact in your life?
Yeah.
Mm. It better not be a lame one we already know.
Yeah,
Just
Well,
kidding.
You probably already know most of them.
dude,
I know
I'm
he
his
knows for
best
sure.
boy, so I know all of it. Okay,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the obvious one for me is like I went through a like season of life with the church where I did some really stupid stuff and basically had to take a break from ministry for like a couple of years. In short, like sparing details, I was like volunteer staff at Living Water, overseeing like all of our next gen worship. So like middle school, high school, young adults. And I think I was like 22, 23, and had gotten into a relationship with a friend of mine, a woman who was married. And that was, we kept that secret for like 8 months. Worst 8 months of my life for sure. Because obviously I knew it was wrong, and I was like leading worship and doing all this stuff. And weirdly, like a lot of that wasn't negatively affected, but internally I was miserable.
Naturally.
Yeah, makes sense.
Checks out.
Makes sense. I'm like, no, I know this isn't right, but I want it, and I also hate it.
Yeah, we're going to run with it.
And so then eventually, like, that came out, and I stepped down and kind of went through a season of just, I don't feel like I need to leave. Like, I don't feel like the Lord's telling me, hey, like, it's time for you to go. This is like an opportunity for you to move on. Like, you're done here. But really felt the Lord telling me, like, no, like, I want you to stay and rebuild, trust, and like submit yourself to like the leaders that are here. Like, you did something wrong, but I still want you here. Yeah. Which a lot of people will just leave. And I remember talking to John. I was like, I feel like I need to stay. Like, if you would have me stay, I'll stay. Like, I want to do things right. And that whole process was super messy, super good. I didn't do everything perfectly. They didn't do everything perfectly. Like, I'm good with everybody now. But I think the biggest part of that was just learning like a grace for people who like do make mistakes or do find themselves genuinely at a place of like, I'm doing this thing, but I really just don't know what to do about it. Because for me, there was like genuine feelings. I wasn't just like horny and wanted to mess around with somebody. Like, I really liked this girl. So a big part of that was like there was a grace that I experienced from leaders, from friends, from people that I really cared about, also from people that maybe like weren't really happy with me for obvious reasons, but still like were willing to say like, okay, like come close, like let's walk this out together.
Wow.
It wasn't perfect. I think I went like the first 6 months after it happened with like being told, oh yeah, like we're going to come up with like a restoration plan, so to speak. And we'll let you know what that is. We'll reach out in like a week or something like that. 6 months later, literally heard nothing from anybody. I wasn't like allowed to serve or like go to events. Like, I basically just come and attend on a Sunday morning, which sucked. But I don't fault them. Like, normally people leave, so they don't have to do. They don't have to do anything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was like, all right, like let's figure it out. So eventually that got figured out. Ben Garad was the one to kind of like head that and be like, hey, you're still around. It was in like, he was in a meeting with like a lot of the leaders of like the ministries. I was like, hey, what are we doing with Kyle? Like, what's going on? And I was like, well, I don't really know. Like, I thought he was this.
No idea.
Basically, it just got like missed. And so then he came to me. He kind of became like the lead on that whole process for me. Yeah. And so over those years, I really just developed this like really deep, like,
It was a couple years.
yeah. So the first 6 months, I wasn't really doing anything. Then it was probably once there was
Like, I kind of don't know any of this, by the way.
yeah, I know we connected briefly. You were like randomly showed up at the church one day. I was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. I was trying to find some of my old stuff.
Were you really?
No.
I was like, is that really why you were there?
No, I was just in town passing through. I think.
Yeah. And so yeah, it was 6 months of like hadn't really heard anything because I'm like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't want to say this is what I'm gonna do because I think this is what's right because I don't have that trust with people now.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, so 6 months of that, and then probably another 6 months of just like having conversations with people, being consistent in certain things, like attending service and like checking in with Ben and Brooke. I was over at their house like every week, just like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Like, how do you feel like things are going? Because it was like a pretty public, it's not like they announced it from the platform or anything, but like I remember I went and told John about it, and then I left town for like a few days.
So you brought it to the light, or did it get found out?
I brought it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which that's another crazy, like, yeah,
Ordeal.
yeah. Basically, her husband wanted to get together with me because I was friends with him, and he didn't know anything, and they were like getting a divorce, and he just wanted to get my perspective on where she was at. And mid conversation with him, I felt the Lord just be like, "Hey, this is it. Like, this is the time. Like, come clean." So I did to him, and then I went to John. But I remember talking to John, and being like, "Hey, I have to work. I'm gonna be out of town for like a couple days." He's like, "Yeah, like, let's wait. And, like, we'll talk more when you get back." And I come back, and like everybody knows, just because people talk. It's just a thing. And I don't like blame anyone for it. Just you can't control that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like there was a lot of like public, people talking or people wanting to talk to me that maybe they were involved or they're not involved at all, that just want to like come give me their opinion, which is like, hey, I'll own my stuff like every day of the week as long as I know that it's there. But it's tough being in a situation where you're sticking around and there's all the same people that like know you.
Yeah, but
maybe don't know you intimately.
Yeah, but
it's
in
like,
some way, don't you think that's how it's supposed to be? Like,
yeah,
because like we're supposed to. I think so. I have some opinions and some questions, and maybe my opinions aren't right, but you've actually walked through it. Where a lot of people, I think you're right. I think the most common thing is when we mess up, we leave.
Yeah, pack up.
Or the flip side of the coin is when we get hurt, we leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most two common
way
things.
More common.
Yeah. We get hurt, we're gone.
Yep.
Right. And I think the way that God designed the church was it's supposed to be communities where you get hurt, you stay.
Yeah.
You hurt people, you stay.
Right. Yep.
And there's a path of redemption, restoration,
mm-hmm.
so that we can all like, I describe it as rocks in a rock tumbler. It's one of the reasons why I love the friendships we all have after being in ministry. And like, I'll raise my hand and say, dude, I'm sure I messed up 1,000,000 times on you guys. And I'm so sorry if I did,
You're good, man. Yeah.
In all humility. But I tried my hardest. I wanted to be great.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to tell the truth. I wanted to love Jesus around you, for you, in front of you.
Right.
And I bet I was wrong 1,000 times. I was fat the whole time. I lacked the fruit of the Spirit. I probably cussed. I probably did all sorts of things. But I loved you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to say tangent to that. A lot of the friendships I have now, I think pretty much all of my groomsmen, I mean, you were different. You were older than me when I was in high school. That was always really fun. You have this weird, like little, similar to like us to Andy. I feel like you were that to me a little bit.
Yeah, you and Andrew Sanchez.
Yeah.
We're like these two dudes that were younger than me that I'm like, God, I just love these dudes too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Right. But I want to say to that, I pulled, like, the biggest thing that I think I took away from your leadership was, like, you weren't this type of leader that was like, I'm a leader, like, I'm way up here, and you just don't understand things, and you just don't relate to, like, you're just like a kid, or you're just a leader, so we can't, like, interact as, like, two people. Like, I feel like you did the opposite of that, and, like, oh, like, I'm going to be here and, like, be friends with these guys before I'm going to, like, tell them how to live their life without, like, any relationship or any trust.
Yeah.
That's something, like, as I was leading people as a leader in high school, like, that was always, like, my first priority of, like, okay, I want to actually, like, be friends with these guys.
Yeah, be in each other's lives.
Yeah, just be in their life, be friends, like, get to actually know each other rather than me coming in and being like, okay, I'm your leader, I'm going to tell you how you should be doing
There's
everything.
no experts in Christianity.
Right, yeah,
There's just people further down the road.
Right.
That's
so I've taken, like, a lot of my, like, mindset on how to, like, have influence with people. Not that it's, like, a manipulative thing, but it's just like, oh, yeah, I would rather, like, put, like, pursuing a friendship and just getting to know a person first before
that's awesome
being, like, a leader. And I pulled that from, like, your example.
That's
so
cool.
And that's something I hold like so tightly to like whenever I'm interacting with somebody that's younger. I have like an intern now. It's the same kind of thing. It's like, all right, well, let's just like hang out and have a good time, and if stuff comes up, we'll talk about it.
Life and be real.
Yeah.
And
Well, you need to build that relational equity on the front end to like have an opportunity to speak into someone's life, right?
Yeah, but I really respect. I know that you were obedient. You said that you heard the Lord say, "I want you to stay here." I agree. I think that was the Lord, because it is far easier to leave.
Right.
It's easier to cut off the limb, and then just have a new reputation, a new start. But to be restored is a lengthy process. It's really, really painful. And there's always some residual. There's still some people who there's probably side glances and still misunderstandings and things like that. It's probably even difficult to talk about it.
Sure.
Because those actions, those decisions created real hurt in people that you cared about.
Yeah.
And, time helps, but I think that, so I guess the short of it is I really respect that you stayed around, but few people do it. So I guess my question is, what today? So you're 2 years down the road
from that?
From that, or
no, that was like 2016,
it's been
17.
like 5 or 6 years.
So it was 5 or 6. So okay, so
no, more than that. So that was like 2016, and then 2017
so it's
was
been
when
like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm still at Living Water. Praise God.
It's amazing.
Which is
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, really awesome. So looking back, they always say hindsight's 20/20. Like, what advice would you give people to sort of prevent, those types of relationships from fostering?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think a big part of it, and I realized obviously after the fact, I kind of learned where I was at the time, spiritually and emotionally. I was so caught up in, not necessarily that I like needed like verbal praise. It wasn't like a recognition thing, or like I just need people to recognize me. So now I'm sad and depressed, and I'm going to do something that I probably shouldn't just to feel like a good feeling, I think it was more of like I didn't really know like who I was in Christ first.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, doing worship basically since I was 15, and I'm 31 now. Like on a weekly basis, every week I'm playing something or leading worship or leading a team. Stack that on like, I was putting in like 20, 25 hours a week.
As a volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And granted, sure, I was in high school, which you can do. So like, high schoolers don't have anything going on unless they have like sports or whatever, but still like it's a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so much of like, I felt like who I was so much like revolved around.
Yeah.
Just
Your identity
that.
was wrapped up in that.
I was like, this is who I am. This is what I'm called to. I literally got this tattoo because of that.
Yeah.
But like, one, there's a difference between calling and assignment, which is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But like I think the issue I was facing was, my identity was so wrapped up in these things that I'm doing. Like that's who I'm supposed to be. Like this is the person that I am. So then in my perspective, when I didn't see that like playing out in a way that made sense. So like, like you weren't. We want to pay you. We want to bring you on staff.
You weren't getting the job, or you weren't getting the
we don't have the
recognition.
budget. And then it's like, oh, but we're gonna hire another admin over here in the same department.
Sure.
Stuff like that is like, okay, like this really sucks. And then, basically, kind of becomes like I just don't feel supported
or appreciated.
Which just
is
makes
the
you
flip
vulnerable.
side of the coin to like entitled. Like it's like, well, I deserve this. Whatever.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna take on the side.
This friend comes along that I've known since I moved back up there.
Yeah.
Who empathized and was very like
was kind and
like you do deserve that. You're right. Like that really sucks. And we had been close friends for a really long time.
Yeah.
And like liked each other in different seasons of life, but it just hadn't lined up.
The timing wasn't right.
Yeah. I don't know if the timing was right then.
Yeah.
Well, for sure. But, never really lined up.
But it was like, so that happens, and I'm like, oh wow, this is like filling this void that really my sonship in the Lord should have been filling.
Yeah, that's good.
But I was trying to fill it with like, I don't want to, not worldly purpose, but like the purpose of calling or gifting, being like, oh, I'm here to do this and this is how I make an impact. So that's who I am.
Relational love or connection is a great substitute for holy fulfillment.
Yeah.
It really is. It's probably the best substitute. Like that we all seek it. We seek validation, we seek acceptance, we seek those things. So so great answer, by the way. Second question, follow up to that. So I believe obviously you have everyone who makes a decision has a responsibility. But I also think the church had a responsibility to maybe see it coming or help.
Oh yeah.
What could, in your opinion, having been through it, what could the church and church leaders learn and do different? What could they have done different?
I think it's such like a nuanced question because it's very like, I don't want to put everything on them.
No,
because part of it, it's both sides have to be responsible. I think themselves.
It's a shared responsibility.
Yeah, I think
the person who acts has a lot of responsibility, but the conditions that were created, we can improve those.
Yes,
and we should ask. I mean, the church is at a pivotal moment right now.
Yeah,
where it's in a, I believe, I guess this is just my opinion, but it's my show with. So I can say
you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. I think the church is transforming, and it needs to transform in order to remain relevant to society.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think how the conditions at that time could have been better and how I think I could have been supported better. I think because I was like the guy in like youth ministry, or I was like a leader that was like, oh yeah, Kyle's always such a servant and he's always doing so much. Wow, that's awesome. Like there was just so much allowance to like, oh yeah, let him serve and do as much as he wants, even though we're not really like 100%. Making sure that he's healthy.
That's what I was gonna say.
Because it's not that like I was some terrible human being.
Because you get so much. You have these like amazing, incredible, useful people. That are useful to the cause, and you
want them to be there and be involved and help.
You're in active ministry. They're your friends. You're connected to them. The job is big and the mission's important. And so all of a sudden you're like, man, we gotta get this done. And you're here. And so we sort of gloss over. I think I'll speak from a former person who was in a chair. I think in hindsight, I'm like, man, I think some of it was nearing abuse, like the level that we used people and didn't compensate them. I should have said on some occasion, why don't you guys go home? Like, I'm being paid to be here.
Exactly.
But we were working hundreds of hours, literally. I mean, we were exhausted. And that's what's so hard when you're a vocational minister is it's like a job and a mission. And in your mind, the mission is so important that you can't ever punch out.
If anybody wants to like help,
we have to
let them come.
I think if I ever do something like it again, that's an area that I will be really cognizant of. I don't want to abuse people for the mission.
And I would rather have somebody be a little bit disappointed that they're not serving as much as they maybe want to than get burnt on the back end. And be like, oh, well, I did this for years and years and years. And like, you never compensated or you never asked how I was doing. It's like, well, I did. And you always said yes. You always said you were good.
Yeah. Right. It's just an area where we just got to be really
with
careful.
Like with a hindsight and I think a growth in maturity, like you have to kind of I don't know about take accountability, but try to be intentional about like looking ahead in somebody's life that's like on your team or serving the church or your team and be like, okay, like, is this too much?
Yeah, make sure that if they're there as much as you're there, it's too much.
It's too much. Right? I will always try to
make sure they have days off.
I'm giving my intern, he's got tomorrow off. I was like, I don't really need you. The team's set. Like, don't come. Hey, you can come if you want, but don't do anything. Like, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But like, I want to land so much more on the side of like you said, it's my job. I'm getting paid for this. I don't have the stress of, oh, I'm giving all of this time and don't have the compensation.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I do have the compensation and like that helps. It's obviously not about the money, but like I do need money to live.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to give an extra 25 hours for like nothing necessarily when it's like either a salaried wage or something like that.
Yeah.
And when I was like in that season of my life, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like I was also working for my dad and God bless my dad, like
Yeah,
letting
your
me
dad's
like go
amazing.
do all this church stuff and like take a week off for camp, and then like, oh, they want me to stay for this other camp, and is that cool? Yeah, that's fine. Go for it. I know it's what you want to do. Like, he's great.
Yeah.
But like, I don't ever want to put somebody in a position where they especially feel pressured or like expected to like, hey, like for the mission, you have to give, like you have to sacrifice. If they want to make that decision and like really convince me that they're actually good and healthy and like they're finding their identity in who they are as a son or daughter before they're finding it in like what they're doing for the church or for people, then great if we can get to that point. But
Tim
I
Wimberly
don't
did
want to
that for
just
me.
like, I don't just want to err on like, well, they said they're good, so
Tim
must be
Wimberly
fine.
did that for me. I was working so much, and he asked my wife like, "How's things going at home?" She's like, "It's not great." And Tim's like, "Okay, you can be done for a bit." And sent me to counseling with Marie, and it was really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, do you think there's also an element of responsibility on, and I think you did touch on it a little bit, but it's just a thought that came into my head where maybe there's a world where it's okay, because I know for me, like when I was volunteering before I came on staff in a media role, like Andy was over it, and it was towards the beginning of like when I started getting really into video production, and so I was volunteering a lot because I wanted to learn a lot. Now, where I think the difference is you can have people that want to come in and volunteer at a high capacity, but I think there's also, if you're going to create a space for that and an expectation for that, then you as the leader have to also follow that up with the care you give to these people, right? Because I think you touched on it too, for a point where it's like the burnout happens when you've got these people coming in for 20, 30 hours a week for free. And maybe in the beginning they're perfectly fine, but there's also an element of like, I'm helping accomplish this goal.
Right.
But I think people are also there because relationally, like they see value in spending time around you. And so that's where the leader then has to make the decision. If I'm going to have people come in and there's this ask to volunteer in a high capacity, I need to step up and match them with that. It's kind of like, we talk about it with like our knock team, right? For sales and stuff. We can create this team of guys to go out and do door-to-door marketing, but they're going to get burnt out unless we as the leaders are out there with them, championing them on. We can't just send them out and expect them to produce great things while we sit in the back and be like, well, we've still got, you guys are working on this part of the mission, but we've got the whole map. So we've got to come here, here, and here, and here.
Right.
Which, yes, we still have to accomplish the mission, but you also have to support the troops. So, as leaders, I guess that's an area where they need to step up. And then also to another point, Gary Vee makes this comment, which I think there's a lot of value in, really on the business side, but I think it applies to this as well, where he says, if you're a CEO or an owner, founder, whatever it is, you can't have the expectation that your staff is going to have the same heart and vision and drive to build your business as you do. It's your business. They're there to collect a job. You can't expect that out of them. And so it's the same thing in ministry. I can't go, like when I was running it and I was building teams, like I think your brother was, he would come in and do the video directing for me often. And I struggled to build that team because no one just wanted to do it. And I could start to sense, because like Cody was always
it's
my
high
go-to
pressure,
guy.
low appreciation.
Exactly.
In media, it's
Especially
like
that
you
stuff.
only get
Especially in
noticed
church.
if it
If
goes
something's
wrong.
Exactly.
Someone's looking at the booth.
We
they're
finished
like,
each other's
"Hey, the mic's not
sandwiches."
on." I was like, the mic's not on. It's like you literally have to give it 2 seconds after you hit the switch, then you're good. Now I look like I didn't.
I want to have a talk back mic in the booth. That one's on, you idiot.
You did it wrong.
Exactly.
But that's my two perspectives on it. As leaders, like you can't expect the world from everyone. And if you do have people that want to come in and give you more, you have to match them with your effort relationally.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, because you can't just expect them to constantly pour out.
Right.
And then you have like maybe a once a month check-in. How are you doing? Well, I feel fine. This is really hard. Man.
Dude, that sucks.
Really sucks. But like, are you good?
But like, are you good to go on the schedule
well,
again?
I did just tell you that like this really sucks. And I'm having a hard time.
I have pretty strong opinions about it now. I'm probably wrong. I'll just say that, but
we're all probably wrong somehow.
We're all wrong.
I look at like event church is kind of what I call it. Like, I think even if you're being compensated, it's exhausting.
Oh yeah.
Because you're putting on an event every Sunday for hundreds and hundreds to sometimes thousands of people to come to. And not only that, but you're essentially performing You know,
Yeah.
if you're in creative arts,
There's a
if you're in
level of
worship,
production.
there's
That's
a
like,
production
we want
level.
it to look good. We
Yeah.
want it to sound good. We want it to feel good.
So, and then those same people, whether they're in tech or whether they're on stage or performing, are also then expected to be friendly. And it's like, it takes 100% of all of you.
Every valve in your brain is turned all the way on.
Yeah.
Whether you've got it or not.
And so
it's
just an exhausting people job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%.
And so compared that to like a small church that's like doing, what are those things when you bring for potlucks and like the volunteers like, oh, I made something from home and brought it and helped set a small table.
Right.
That is so much more sustainable than
100%.
event church. And so part of me wonders if like if I was like mandated to start a church right now, I would do event church once a month, and I would do potluck church 3 times a month.
Small, low pressure,
low
gathering.
I think
pressure.
you're seeing church convert that way anyways already
I
today.
I kind of miss it. Like we had this thing called the fellowship hall when I was growing up at a Lower Christian Life Center, and like I legit as a 12 to 16 year old looked forward to the freaking potlucks. Like we would just run around, we would play as kids and hang out. I know they have devices now and they probably wouldn't hang out, but like but I loved it. And
Well, it was the same.
I got to know the people that I went to church with.
When Living Water used to do Wednesdays and Saturdays back in the
pizza
day.
nights.
Yeah, Joe Monty would make
Joe Monty,
hundreds
dude.
of pizzas, and the whole congregation would stay afterwards. And they would just hang out, eat food. Like we would sit there till 8 or 9 o'clock, and me and my buddies would be riding their skateboards. They had the whole room set up with video games, all this other fun stuff. And so, as a youth boy, it was the one thing church brought that I looked forward to the most. You know? And so I do see a lot of value in that. I do believe that church is converting that direction already, anyways. Just because I don't think that there's more scandal now, but I think social media and the way technology has evolved, scandal is definitely more accessible, and more in the spotlight. And so I think that with all of that stuff now getting brought to the light more consistently and almost immediate, which I'm not saying is a bad thing by any means,
awesome,
but it's creating a distrust in community towards church. And so that's where you're seeing people be more interested in like, I'm going to do a small home church. We've got 20 of our closest friends. We can bring new people in when they want to come. And I'm personally a fan of that model myself. I enjoy it because I like the relational aspect.
As like a musician and someone who loves to like worship. Like,
it's probably hard for you.
I love hearing it in the instruments and the full band. I'm just like, oh, I love this. Which is why I think it's cool to get like the whole church together to like worship and hear like a message. I've talked about this before, but it's similar to what you just mentioned of like, like a once a month, like you have maybe like a bigger thing where it's like, oh yeah, you have a band or you do whatever, or maybe you like borrow a facility rather than like owning one or buying one. But then like those off weeks, you're just getting together, like hanging out, like praying for each other, like talking about the word and stuff like that. We started a young adults ministry that we're only doing once a month because we don't want it to turn into like even just us as staff. We're like, we don't need another thing that we need to do every week. Like, which is, I think, healthy about where Living Water's at now is we're not as much like this. Oh, but everything we do has to be firing on all cylinders. It's like, we'll do a young adults thing once a month. Like I'll get some guys who are just passionate about worship and music to come play. And if they say no, and I always try and be like, if you're not, literally no pressure. If you want to do it, like if there's something in you that's like, oh yeah, I want to do that.
Let's see.
Then do it. If you don't, then
that's
don't
awesome.
Come.
Let's see here who actually worked at Living Water. 1, 2, 3. IECCR. What does it mean? Integrity, excellence, courage. Excellence, courage, relevancy.
Yeah, we got it.
I was a terrible employee.
The old Bert Smith.
I still remember it from 20 years ago.
Dude, I sat in my thing and I
this is an IECCR. Throw it away.
Get it out of here.
How does this fit into IECCR?
I guess it doesn't.
Then we don't need it.
Then we don't need it. Kill it.
This was my dream. Your dream's dead. Find another job. You're gone.
That child. That disheveled one, not very ICC.
Get it out of here.
I know. She didn't sleep last night. Get her out of here.
Get rid of it.
Get rid of it. That's awful.
No, that never happened. That last one.
No.
I mean, like crazy idea. Maybe like you could have like a citywide band / facility, that band could play every week.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And then different communities can come on their nights and enjoy it. I mean, like, there's ways to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've really never heard somebody like pitch that idea before.
I was been thinking about it because, like, Heart of the City actually has a really crazy good band.
Yeah, Heart of the. I mean,
They're really good.
It was a good experience. It was a fun thing. Their video was a little cringy. I'll be honest.
Is their heart right though? Is their heart right?
Heart was
Yeah,
there.
their heart's right.
Is it skill above heart? I hope not.
It is. It's David. It's the integrity of their heart and skill of their hands. That's actually a John Kobler message. It is. Yeah. No, Seth Owens, which is J.O. and Radine's son, is. I mean, you're amazing. Bar none, though.
It's okay.
Seth Owens is the best worship leader I have personally ever heard in my entire life.
Wow.
God has called him on to be like a different, like a communicating pastor, and he leads worship less and less, but he is maybe the best that's ever done it. He's so good.
Oh, that's wild.
Is it like a skill good, or is it just like
it's
kind of
skill,
like a presence and anointing kind of?
It's like full.
Everything.
He's tens.
That's awesome.
And he's a writer, and the music he writes is so crazy good. Like, he's so good.
Ooh,
I know.
I know.
You're blessed.
You're blessed.
Well, he doesn't really do it anymore, but
you were blessed.
we were blessed.
Now you're operating at a
yeah.
deficit.
I mean, the new guy's amazing too, but
he led when I was there. The one time we went, Seth
Owens?
led and he spoke. He did both.
Wow.
Kind of a double threat guy.
Pulling a regular Chase Merrill.
a little double dipper.
Double dip.
Yeah, he's really good.
That's awesome.
But my point is, like, that can happen, I think, too, because I think about, like, Philippians and like Corinthians, and like these are cities that were churches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literal cities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Olympia has a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene has a vibe.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah.
It is a better vibe. But hey, nothing against
well,
it.
I mean,
It is a better vibe.
Well, it's cleaner.
It's
for sure.
cleaner,
By a
no
lot.
crime.
Listen,
Everything's
I like Olympia.
Cheaper.
You do.
Do I
you
love
your
everything
city.
about
You love
Olympia?
your city.
No, I don't love everything about it.
I actually respect that you love your city. Olympia has some great things about it.
You respect that I love my city.
I do.
Okay.
I do. I don't.
You do. It's
I
just funny,
drove.
I love that for you.
I drove through Olympia not too long ago. And I was like, yikes!
I
It
know.
really has kind of gone downhill. But
I've become very jaded.
but maybe
towards
I'm
No,
old.
you have.
It's gone like downhill to me.
It's-
Just in
it's
that
an
there's like
interesting,
tents and stuff everywhere.
yeah, the cleanliness, the amount of homeless people for sure.
Yeah.
But there's also like slowly things being added that it's like, oh, there's this like new shop or this new little restaurant or this new thing,
Mhm.
like things like that. Is there a lot to do there, like physically? Not really.
Mhm.
There's like, I mean, I'll go out and get drinks or like get food.
Yeah.
Or like,
I do think people in Olympia are really funny because you can't go outside as much, and so you have to be inside entertaining yourself. I've always
Yeah.
thought that, actually. A lot of funny
Interesting.
people come out of Olympia
Yeah.
because you're
Because you don't want to be wet.
Andy
yeah,
Irwin.
Andy Irwin,
Andrew
Sanchez.
Andrew
Oh,
Sanchez,
dude.
yeah.
Andrew Sanchez, we need to get him on here. You know
Yeah,
how
he would be
fun
a
he would
riot.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, as we wrap,
right, we're-
can we
yeah.
rapid fire questions? Can we rapid fire
rapid,
questions?
go.
What kind of guitar are you playing right now?
Right now I have a Veritas custom Portlander. It's like white,
Oh.
like open grain with like a black pickguard with Lambertone's Crema pickups.
Wow,
That's my electric
dude.
guitar. So,
Woo.
and then the church, which Alec bought for the church, a
Whoa.
Gibson
Is he still here?
J45 acoustic guitar. Yeah,
He's
he's
still
over
here.
there. That I use when I lead worship.
Man, that was like
He's dialed on it. Favorite pedal on the board.
My pedal board's pulled apart right now, but my favorite pedal that I have
Eric
right
Neal's
now
listening to this. So
Eric,
is
don't
okay.
disappoint
Yeah.
Eric.
Favorite
Neal
pedal
makes
that I
amazing
have.
pedals.
Oh gosh. Well, I just sold a bunch of them.
That-
So
that-
the
I
favorite
didn't-
pedal, the favorite pedal I'm
jeez.
going to have on my new board is
Oh.
the Hologram Electronics Microcosm.
whoa.
Yeah. Which is like it's kind of like an ambient synthy pedal that takes your signal and then alters it in a bunch of different ways and spits it back.
I
into it,
could have
like
said that.
reverse, like
digs your signal in
and then
mixes
changes
it up a
it.
bit.
Makes it sound different. And
it makes it sound different than if like you're playing a guitar unplugged.
It's crazy how that
Insane.
works.
yeah.
Sounds like a weapon.
But it's
from
really
Destiny.
cool. You can do a bunch of little bleepies
Little
and synthy
glisten
stuff.
sounds?
Yeah, little glistens.
Little glisten, little star.
Oh, be still and glisten.
We're gonna write Sharpie a G on it after
Yeah.
this is over.
I love that idea. It's pretty
No, we
good.
won't.
Okay. Do you have another one ready?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Are you making up? Are you
beard
coming
or
up with these right
mustache or both?
I would say both if I had to have one forever.
Nice.
Yeah, I like doing like the shorter and then more mustache, but
Mhm.
Kendra doesn't like it because it pokes her face,
She's not
which
into it.
is a pretty normal thing.
That is
That's
a pretty
fair-
normal
Yeah,
thing.
That's
yeah,
a fair thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Favorite beer.
Gosh,
Got him.
favorite beer. Dude, I don't know if I have like just a beer that's my favorite. I do really like the Silver City has like a peach IPA.
Wait, your jewelry store?
No.
He
That's
gets a necklace and
no,
a
no, no.
beer every week.
You said Silver City.
no Super
Silver-
Silver.
Super Silver's a store. Silver City is an actual brewery.
Yeah. The jewelry store? What?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Olympia's
Silver
getting
City,
better, dude.
They
It
make
is.
the Tropic Haze beer,
Yeah, they
right?
have Tropic
Which
Haze.
smells like
Ride the
marijuana.
Spiral's another one. No, that's not Tropic Haze. That's a different one.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Look at that confidence.
Positive.
Oh, I
I'm
don't
positive.
drink, so.
Trust me, dude. Tropic
Trust
Haze
me?
used to be
I just
my
thought
favorite.
of a really funny question. If you had to choose one forever, God the Father, Jesus, or the Holy Spirit?
Yeah. Or Daddy God.
Or Daddy God. We'll do an add-in. This is such a pointless question,
No,
but it is
I'm
funny to
just
think about.
joking.
No, I'm gonna answer it. I would choose the Holy Spirit,
Ooh, okay.
or well,
Worship leader,
if
classic
Jesus.
worship
If
leader.
Jesus isn't there, then I'm gonna go to hell. So,
Gotta go to hell.
so maybe I should choose
Good
him.
doctrine, okay.
Jesus is the right answer to that question.
But
the Holy Spirit is more of like he's my helper.
It's a
you know?
it's a trap though because Jesus
Yeah.
says it's better for him to go away that the Holy Spirit comes.
Exactly,
See, that's why it is,
exactly.
yeah.
Oh, boom roasted.
Boom
Yeah, I don't
roasted.
know. It
But
was not a win.
it's a trick trap question.
Trip trap.
Okay.
Question.
Next tattoo.
Next tattoo. I want to get
Kendra's
like
name.
an American traditional, like this kind of style,
Whoa.
like moth or something, like
A
below
Fighting
my
a
left
snake.
knee
Why a moth?
on like
'Cause
my
snakes
upper
eat
shin.
moths.
That's not
Dude,
why.
you've never seen a snake eat a moth?
Bro, you need to watch more snake.
Have you been
videos.
outside
Yeah.
ever?
Dude,
A couple
open a
times.
Natty Geo,
Sorry.
please.
Just cause.
Really?
Just cause. I mean, this. Just because.
Yeah.
Just because.
All of my
just because.
tattoos are just
Mhm.
because. I mean, honestly, other than like my little eagle, everything else has just been like that looks cool. I could live with that forever.
Yeah.
The eagle is the only one that had some form of significance to it.
Yeah. This one,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I was with Kyle Williams, Chris Arneson, Michael Schofield,
Chris
yeah.
Arneson.
and I think Seth Solkowski.
Yeah.
We were visiting Chris Arneson in Tri-Cities, walked into a tattoo shop, and I just picked it out and got it. I
I
actually
was
passed
supposed
out
to be on
while
that
they were
trip,
tattooing it.
wasn't I?
Yeah,
I think I
you
was
were.
supposed to be there and I
Yeah.
couldn't make it for some reason.
Yeah.
Could have got another tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
But yeah, my next tattoo, a nice little moth, traditional moth on my upper shin on my left leg.
Wow.
Kendra wants me to get some kind of thigh thing, but
Hmm.
I don't
Her
know,
name.
dude.
Her name.
Yeah, little
Do you
Kenny
have
bears.
any nicknames?
You had a couple for me when I was in high school. I don't remember exactly what they were. I think you would just call me like K-Goves.
K-Goves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. it was
K-Goves.
K-Goves.
Mhm.
I
Kai?
Kai, my
Mhm.
youngest sister, and
Mhm.
my niece. Well, my niece calls me Kaiki.
Yep.
Chloe calls me Kai. Still,
Mhm.
she's like 18. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
sometimes. In middle school, it's so stupid. I'm gonna sound so like weirdly proud of this, but I'm not. It's not that cool. My friends used to call me Candyman because I would sell candy at school.
Dude, the original hustle, dude.
Dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
My mom
Slinging
would buy
Snickers.
me go to like now United Grocers, but like cash and carry at the time.
Yes. Yes.
Candy for like good grades. And then I would take it to school and be like, yeah, $2, dude. I'll get you this
You
whole,
know,
this whole
$2.
bar, dude.
$2.
Oh, you want a sour gecko? That's going to be $1.50.
Okay, I got two more rapid fires. What car do you drive?
2008 Honda Civic.
Okay, so that's just a utility car. You're not like proud of that or anything.
It's not like my main car. It's just what I'm driving right now.
Yeah,
Just
so
for
from A to B,
practicalities.
baby, A to
Yeah,
B.
yeah.
Last question, probably most important. On a scale of 1 to 10, how handsome is your dad, Glenn Gover?
Oh
10.
my god.
10.
It's a
easy.
10.
Oh, I
easy.
got one more.
Super
Doesn't age.
handsome.
No, I can't. It's not funny. Never mind.
No, now I want to know what it is.
No,
I was just going
Can you tell us we can laugh at you?
Alec is here. I was gonna say.
You gonna make him
who's
rate
more
the
handsome,
handsome?
Glenn Gover or Eric Williams?
Ooh.
Oh, we were with your dad and and Alec and we pulled up a picture of both of the dads.
Yeah. Oh
And-
yeah, at dinner
yeah.
just recently.
At dinner just recently, and the waitress, we put her on the spot and
No
she had
way.
to
Ask
choose.
the waitress.
Who'd she
And
pick?
she was like, it's kind of like even. And we're
She
like,
was
there's
being
no
nice.
shot.
There's no
There's, you know,
shot.
'cause
Well, wait a minute. There's no shot in which.
we were voting
which
Glenn.
way?
We're so sorry to Alec's dad, but we were voting Glenn.
I would vote Eric.
It's not that Eric's not handsome.
No.
Eric is very handsome.
Is it? Yeah. Is this a looks thing or like an overall?
I was basing it just off pure looks.
Just pure
Really?
looks. I was going Glenn. Alec, don't.
Do you have a rebuttal or something?
Actually, he did. He
Eric's
aged
a good-looking
really
guy.
well.
Do you want to give some input or?
Yeah, he
No.
aged really well. Eric did.
He did.
He's handsome.
I would say
He is.
pure looks.
you would give
Eric.
it to Eric.
I would give it to Eric.
Okay,
Eric
wow.
just looks more
Glenn,
of like
your own son.
Okay,
Sorry
well,
for the
let's
disrespect,
don't-
Glenn.
You're a handsome guy.
Well,
I mean,
you
you're
should see
looking
Clay.
like your dad more.
Oh
and
my
more.
God, Clay though. Clay
Clay's
is
like-
a 11
Clay's
out
a
of 10.
god.
Clay's handsome.
If there were other
It's not
gods,
fair.
Clay would be the only other one.
Yeah,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
100%.
But
I
I,
think-
would give it to Eric. Eric just looks like the guy that like you walk into maybe a doctor's office.
Well,
You're getting like an
he is a
MRI.
doctor.
yeah, he is a doctor.
Exactly.
is
You
a
walk
doctor.
in and like you're like waiting there and like
And
you
he's a
hear the
handsome
door
doctor
open. It's like,
open.
okay, so here's what we're gonna do. And then you look up and you just
Yeah,
Oh my
'cause
God.
you're just
You
like,
silver
wow,
heart
fox.
stopped a little bit. This
my
guy's
God. Oh my goodness.
handsome.
Mhm.
versus my dad, I feel like you're like kind of around. You see him working on like a house or something.
That's what he does.
And you're
You're just
walking
describing
by.
their
No,
job.
I know.
You're
I know.
literally
I
just
know.
talking
I'm
about their
setting it up.
careers.
It's the perfect scenario. It's the most accurate scenario.
It's very accurate.
You're
yeah.
walking by, you see this guy working on a house, and you're like, oh, I wonder what they're doing in there. And then like he turns and you see his face, and you're actually like, oh, wait a minute.
I think I mean, maybe he's right. Maybe we are a bit skewed because of our love for Glenn.
This is how I can put it.
Who's
Eric
gonna
and I
take
don't
better
hang out
care?
a
Who's
lot.
gonna
Here's-
take better care of the homestead? Probably Glenn.
Probably Glenn.
He just
Here-
has more
guaranteed.
of
This
those
is-
practical skills.
This is the
no
best way I
offense
can think of to
to
describe
No
Eric.
offense to Eric.
Okay.
No offense, Eric, wherever you are.
I'm going to give Eric a 9.9. Okay?
Ooh.
And Glenn a 10, but only because
wow.
Glenn hugs me so well that he gets that extra 0.1 to bring
He does
it
give
to
some
Glenn's
big hugs.
so strong.
He is, and that's what I love about
Glenn's
it.
so
Those are
strong.
very tan.
He is
Yeah,
very
what you can
tan.
see
Very
is very
handsome,
tan.
very kind.
Yeah.
There's some ladies up here that Greg has been trying to connect with your dad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you told me about this.
I've been
Yeah.
trying to build
Yeah.
up a little. I don't want to call it roster because that sounds disrespectful.
Well, you're just kind of like attempting it. Basically, every
It's-
single woman over 40 we meet.
Correct.
Well,
Every-
he's back in the game.
Yeah,
Give him some
Glenn is
options.
back
Make him
in the
feel
game.
comfortable. You know.
Yeah, Greg is like shameless. I
It's-
get a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I'm like, you
it's-
don't have to answer.
It's a selfish
any-
ambition to try and
Yeah.
swindle Glenn into being here, so
fair
I
enough.
can be with him more.
Yeah. Just
You
remove
want-
him.
Platonically,
You want a dad.
I myself want a dad.
Yeah, we really need another like family thing to work through.
Yeah,
So-
perfect.
Yep. Yeah. That's
yeah, that'd be
perfect.
great, dude.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
This sounds
Hey,
amazing.
you guys are gonna love it.
First
Yeah.
our mom's gone, then our dad
Our
leaves.
mom's gone. Dad's
Yeah,
gone. Dude.
your mom was 1 in a million, dude.
She's
Oh,
amazing.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
what a
amazing.
champion.
Yeah,
Dude.
Wendy Gover
Wendy Gover.
So
one last
funny.
thing.
made
'Cause
the
do
best
we have-
lattes. We have time.
Okay, so
What about
here's
your
my
hard
last
3
piece.
o'clock?
Yeah, you did text us and say I got a hard bounce at.
Yeah,
3.
see,
And
but
it
now
is
he's having a good time.
3:17.
We've swayed him. He's having a good time.
I kind of didn't realize it was fast for you. I'll have to text them, but
Yeah.
this is great.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is great.
Sweet.
it is
One
good.
last thing.
My last
We
last thing.
have my
because-
aunt's my aunt Sylvia's in town to see Scarlett's show tonight,
Oh,
so I was
nice.
supposed to go somewhere, but it's all good. This
That's
is
awesome.
great. It's just so fun to hang out with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's fun.
So
I know I'm a fun guy. I,
You're
didn't know.
amazing.
I know it's fun hanging out with me.
It's,
you
fun.
know.
It's been a super special night time. Jackson looked at Kyle
this
today
was cute.
before he went to nap and goes, "I love you," and then Kyle
I was
goes,
like, I love you too.
"Yeah, I love you too," and he just goes, "A lot."
Oh,
I was like,
Oh
oh,
my
buddy,
God.
little sweet
All
boy.
of my friends win my son over. Anyways, we talked about Wendy, and for those who don't know,
mhm.
Kyle's mom passed away
She
2.5 years ago now, something like that.
It's a tattoo.
418.
Wendy was one of my favorite people on planet
Yeah,
Earth,
she's amazing.
Uh-huh.
but most people,
Wendy and
who
I got in
watch-
trouble together at the church
That checks out.
You guys got yeah.
two times
Yeah, dude.
in John's office.
Yep.
People
Yep.
would watch mine and Wendy's relationship, and they would think
Oh,
that
no.
we very much disliked each other,
Mhm.
and because
Because
so-
you were ornery at each other a
yeah,
lot.
we just
all the
liked
time.
to poke each other, and so Devaney, our friend Devaney, is my favorite person in the world in this regard because we would all come over to the Gover's house, we would be hanging,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
Wendy
Gover's
and I-
house was like Grand Central Station.
Oh, it was. It
Like,
was the
everybody
hang
hung
spot.
out.
It was
yeah.
the
hung out
most
there, yeah.
fun. And Wendy would be sitting at the island with her
And
little
Wendy said
cup.
whatever she thought.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, 99%.
99%.
Just
Yeah.
wagging her cup. Gag. I'm empty.
I need another one.
Gag.
I can't taste that. That's
I can't taste
dangerous.
it. That's dangerous, Glenn. That's dangerous.
What was in that? Oh,
she's
just like
so
this much,
funny.
like liquor
Yeah,
or
she's
whatever.
so funny.
Ooh, that's
Dude.
dangerous.
There was one night I can remember where we were just like digging into each other, just saying real mean things back and forth. And then Devaney is sitting there being like, Greg, stop being an asshole. Like, shut up. Why would you say that to her?
Yeah, because
And
she
then-
hadn't really seen.
Yeah, she
you guys
hadn't
do that.
experienced the Wendy and myself dynamic.
Very sarcastic.
Wendy
Very
could
certain-
give it out and take it.
Oh,
yeah.
100%.
100%.
So then Wendy's like, yeah, Greg, how could you disrespect me like that in my own
So
home?
she played into it.
While
course.
she's texting me, oh my God, this is so funny. Keep going, keep going. And that was my favorite
That's
part. We
so
would sit
funny.
there and have these moments where people are like, God,
Yep.
Greg, you're a jerk. And like, and then Wendy would say something mean back, but we're texting each other like, oh my God, do you see these reactions? This is
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Devaney's going crazy.
Devaney's
Yeah,
going
Keep it up.
crazy.
yeah, keep it up.
And we just keep it going.
I know, dude.
She was one of a kind.
That was
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah. She was in everyone's business, but she loved everyone a
Yep.
ton.
Yep.
Yeah,
Everyone's
she was
business the most genuine way possible.
So genuine. Yeah, she really was one in a million, man. She was so
Yeah.
funny.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
She was amazing.
Facts.
you'll get to see her again sometime.
Someday.
Someday.
Hopefully soon, but not like too soon.
Yeah. Well,
Still got to
sooner-
get married. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
when I was a young man,
got
I'd be
long
like,
drive
God,
home."
don't
Yeah.
take me home until I get married and get out.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I need to experience this first.
Yeah.
God, I'm so excited to get into heaven with you. So excited. I want nothing else.
Except for
this.
Yeah. Just this
Except for
one
it's a
thing.
nappy day.
Every
We sang nothing else
generation
tonight, and it
of
was so
young
good.
men are always praying for a delay just while they
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
Lord.
Kyle, so good to see you, brother.
Good to
Yeah,
see you
man,
too.
that was a
Yeah.
fun one.
That was good.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Cool. That's a wrap.
Sweet.
That's it. We
All
did
right.
it. Bye.
Peace.
Goodbye.